Ever since social media came into our lives, it also changed the lives of our children. As a parent myself, I am extremely concerned about the addiction to these platforms. I deal with it with my own kids, and I've covered the stories of online predators being arrested and the number of children around the country who continue to be exploited. Now, for the first time, we are witnessing a landmark trial that we will all hope will make a difference, holding tech CEOs accountable for intentionally designing their platforms to be addictive. And today on the stand, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, someone else who is watching this trial very closely, a man who knows all too well the power of social media. He's investigated and put away sexual predators while also consistently warning parents they have a responsibility as well.
Parents, wake up. People at home are preying on your kids. They're soliciting information. They are deviants. They want to do bad things, and you are the first line of defense. So again, I'll say, parents, wake up. If you do not know what your kids are doing on their cell phones, you better figure it out today.
Amen to that. Joining me now for his take on this landmark social media trial that we are all watching, in addition to what he has done and seen in his state, Florida's Attorney General James Uthmeier. James, great to have you. Your first thought, what do you think about this trial, and what do you want to see come out of it?
I think it's important. We need to see big tech held accountable for intentionally making these social media apps addicting, especially for children. The unlimited scrolling, the push notifications, videos that start by themselves, all these different techniques to make it where you can't even put the phone down. Kids, they won't peel their eyes off the screens these days. We see evidence of mental health disorders, heightened tendencies for suicide, eating disorders, an obsession with image. This is not healthy for young people. It's addictive, it's harmful, and I'm glad to see these children, their representatives, bringing a lawsuit to hold big tech accountable.
And at what point did you decide that these social media platforms were addictive and impacting families in your state? And why did you decide to take such an aggressive approach?
Well, several years ago, working with Governor DeSantis, we identified these harms, these mental capacity challenges with young people, and we passed a bill that requires parental consent if you're under 16 on the social media apps, prohibits kids under 14 from being allowed on the apps. All the big companies fought us in court. They cited First Amendment to let young kids on their applications. Thankfully, we won and will be litigating to enforce this law. But what we found working with law enforcement is more now than ever, evil, dangerous, villainous people are going after kids on these platforms. Snapchat, the preference for perverts because videos and messages disappear so they think they can evade law enforcement is a very problematic application. Roblox, Fortnite, Discord, there's a lot of applications we're investigating. We see predators pretending to be kids themselves, encountering young people, ultimately soliciting information, and in the worst of occasions, which we've seen too many times in Florida, meeting up in person and abusing children. So we're going to go after these companies civilly, criminally where necessary, and we're going to put as many bad guys away as possible. We've taken down over 1,400 child predators just in the last year.
And I hope every state is looking to you as an example of what should be done. We can go after these social media execs and creators, James, but like you said, parents have to wake up. I had to wake up. Sadly, I speak from personal experience. But James, no matter how safe we try to make these platforms, it seems impossible. So unless we just cut our kids off completely, I don't know. As a parent, I struggle with this every day. What do you suggest? What do you tell parents like me?
Well, parents need to immediately get involved, know what, applications and games are on the phones. That's why I oftentimes will hold up the icons so you can see visually what you're looking for. Educate yourself on the tools available to monitor and track the content your kids are looking at. Make sure they're not communicating with any strangers ever. Change the settings so they can only talk to friends and family members, people that you and they know. You are the first line of defense. immense. And then we've got to work with law enforcement to help them figure out what to look for, how to identify these predators, get law enforcement the resources they need to be successful. We do that here in Florida, and ultimately prosecute to the fullest. We've got to send out a message. If you go after our kids, you're going to jail for the rest of your life if we have anything to say about it. And where there's child sex abuse here in Florida, we seek the death penalty.
You know, one more question. And by the way, and I've seen you in your press conferences, and you hold up Snapchat, Roblox, Fortnite, and you say to parents, if you don't know what this is, you better look it up because it's not good. And if your kid's on it, and here's the image right here. I thank you so much to my producers for just taking a freeze frame here because, you know, while parents think they're plugged in and they know what's going on, like for me, I thought I totally knew my kids and knew what they were doing. And it wasn't until I, started to dive into the phone and educate myself. And I'm a journalist. You would think, I would know what the heck I'm doing. I know parents have come to you and said, help. Schools what about the schools? Shouldn't they be doing more to educate kids, educate parents? What's the effort in your state, to create other opportunities to educate families, not just your press conferences?
Yeah, we're working with law enforcement on a messaging campaign to wake parents up, to give them the resources to learn what tools are available to them. But I want to go back to the first question. Parents need to decide, when is it appropriate to put the internet at the fingertips of your children? And I've got a 5-year-old daughter, and I'm already debating with her, and she's so smart, so I can only understand how much more challenging it's going to be in another 5, 6, 7 years. But you have to make the tough decision as a parent. When should my kid have a cell phone? And it might be later than you're initially thinking, given the dangers that are out there. On schools, we need to get cell phones out of classrooms. In Florida, we've passed legislation to allow teachers to take these phones and get them out of the classroom so that kids are really focused on education. But law enforcement, there's several NGOs out there. Everybody really needs to wake up to how dangerous this is, how we can save lives, if we can get parents' attention and prepare them for the true dangers that are out there.
James, I know you know what you're doing, but I'm going to tell you right now that if your child is 5 years old, do not dare let your daughter get on social media. But I think you already know the answer to that, James.
Yeah, we're a no screens family right now, and it's going to be that way for a while.
Amen to that. Florida AG James Ethmeyer, so appreciate your time and your advice, James, and love what you're doing.
Thanks for having me.